baby. I'm a hustler,
Yeah.
baby.
It is third time lucky as Fog Entertainment dives into Power Book 3 Raising Kanan. It is the third spin-off of the Power universe, and I say third time lucky. Can we find one of these spin-offs that's actually better than the original show, or hell, just as good? Because I feel like with Power Book 2 Ghost, to me that is the one so far that I've watched as closest to the original show. Is that because they're both set in New York? Is it because it follows Ghost's son? Probably. And that's not to say Power Book 4 Force is bad, but I think it is the weakest. But we're not going to waste any time. This one's back in the day. We're going to go back in the day, 39 years ago, to 1985. And I think this show is going to follow a couple of different timelines. You get 1985 to kick off the pilot. We then pan to 91. And then I believe the actual show is set in 93, but it stayed in 91 for the remainder of this episode. But for the 1985 part, essentially, we're introduced to Kanan. There's a bunch of kids fighting, and the viewer is to assume that he's probably the one beaten up, but then we get 50 Cent narrating. I thought that was a nice touch, the fact that he's narrating this. And that's an intriguing thing, though. When this show, I don't know how many seasons this prequel's going to do, but surely when it gets to its like later seasons or towards the end when they're wrapping it up, I think it would make sense to bring 50 Cent back to play Kanan again. Because I think, yeah, it makes total sense. 50 Cent can't play a teenager. I mean, the guy's like near 50, but can he play a guy that's like, you know, if they do a couple of time skips, it's near 30? I think it's believable. You know, we've got makeup, you've got de-aging, equipment that you can use. I mean, I don't think it's worked perfectly in movie and TV shows throughout the past, but I mean, as we've seen in Better Call Saul, I think with some characters it worked, some it didn't. But I would like to see 50 Cent definitely in here to some degree. But we're introduced to Kanan, we're introduced to his mum's boyfriend who gets killed a year later, which he explains in the narration. And then we're introduced to Jukebox. And if you remember, Jukebox died back in season 4 of Power, so yeah, it is of course Kanan's cousin, but he's like, oh, my cousin, I loved her. It's like, hold on, mate. I mean, you pretty much put a bullet in her back in season 4 of Power. And I got the vibe that they were close, but I didn't really get the vibe that they were as close as he's making it in this prequel. But here, I guess we can rewrite history. But yeah, he grows up here, he puts a bunch of batteries in a sock after getting battered, he goes back out and he starts battering them with a sock. So yeah, Kanan stood up to himself. We then fast forward to 91. He's a bit older. I'm not too sure what age he is here. I would probably guess around 15, 16, definitely around that age. But essentially you've got his mum and her brothers. They're running a few blocks in Jamaica, Queens, and they're going up against a rival gang. So again, what I like about this episode, it is your pilot episode, but it has pretty much explained, right, this is the territories, this is who has which block and all that good stuff going forward. But I hate when a show begins and it feels like it's all over the place. Like, I feel like already with one episode in, the ground rules have been laid down and laid to fight. And we're introduced to his friend group, Jukebox obviously still there. Got this Puerto Rican kid, famous, got D-Wiz, and a few other kids at his school. But essentially his mum wants to get him to pass this test, but then he throws the test away because he wants to grow up in Jamaica, Queens. He doesn't want to grow up with the white boys down on Wall Street. He wants to be carrying a gun. He wants to be walking those corners, so to speak, and essentially throws the test. He starts just ticking every answer as B, and obviously every answer's not going to go B, even in a multiple choice. He's going to get a few of them right, but he's not going to get any of them right. He throws the test. A deal, an arrangement is then made between the two groups, and it turns out his mum has actually gave up her corner, but then one day he's returning home from school with his crew, even though they're like 15, and he sees it like blatant disrespect. So yeah, we see him get his first kill in here, and I like it because 50 Cent's narrating, and I hope it's not just a pilot thing. I hope he narrates throughout the 3 seasons of this show. But I get it, 50 Cent's a busy guy. I'm not too convinced he will be doing that. So yeah, this guy is his first kill, and obviously the rival crew initiates retaliation. Sprays him up at his house. We got a big shootout scene at a diner. Then his mum's like, "You've got to go. You've got to go live with Big Mama." And that's what they call it. That's what they call their grandmas over in the States, Big Mamas, or maybe that's just the African American community. So yeah, that's what she's trying to set up for him. going forward. I believe, I can't remember necessarily where she was at. Was it Ohio? It might have been Ohio. So I'm thinking if there is a time skip at the end of this episode, because essentially at the end of the episode, his mum realizes, like, here, we're not going to send you to your grandma. I was going to, but you're going to learn how to shoot. Then we see Kanan learning to shoot here. And then I loved the ending of the episode where it was like, you know how my story ended. My first fight ended. And then you know how my first fight start it and end it, and now it's like, now you know how my story starts and how you know how my story ends. But motherfucker, we gotta get to the middle. So you've got for 91 up there. In what year were they died in? Par's timeline, probably like what, 2018? Something around then. And I like that. I think when you've got a show and you've got a universe and you've actually got a great timeline in place, you can definitely use a timeline to your advantage. But I think some shows mess it up. I mean, we've talked about it a million times, but The Walking Dead is all over the place. The timeline in that show is it's a fucking disaster. I get it, in a post-apocalyptic world, they don't really go by years. Like, it's not like, oh, that was 2012 when Rick left the farm. It's more like it was 2 years since the outbreak he left the farm. But here you've got the actual, the time stamps. You've got 85, you've got 91, you've got him referencing to the future, which I liked as well. I mean, I wouldn't say any of the characters are particularly, great yet, but we're one episode in. Also, I mean, is there anything woke about it? No. It's set in the early 90s. There's nothing like that. I mean, Jukebox is a lesbian, but she was a lesbian in Par, so it makes sense to follow that route. And 50 Cent's not woke anyway, so it is what it is. But that's where we're going to leave this Par Book 3 review. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I thought it was pretty much everything a pilot prequel should be. Is it the best the spin-off premieres? I think I gave Power Book 2 a 3 out of 10. And I think I gave Force 7 out of 10. I'm going to give this episode... I'm going to give this episode an 8. I thought it was pretty brilliant. I thought the way they'd done it, especially with 50 Cent narrating it, really helped it. I think if you take him narrating it out, I mean, you're probably going to be looking at... maybe like a 6, honestly, because I do think him narrating added so much to it, and it's different because we haven't had anybody narrate in the show, and I feel like other shows that do kill off major characters, a great way of including them in the future probably would be this way, the way Pars included 50 Cent narrating as Ken Stark. So anyway, guys, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. That is back in the day. We've got 9 episodes to go this season. Reaping and Sowing is the next one. So until next time, peace. Fog Entertainment back again with another Power Book 3 Raising Kanan review. And it's season 1, episode 2. And let's not waste any time. So, I mean, I think probably the best way to do for this episode is kind of go through like each character. Jukebox we're going to start with because this stage of the game, it's relatively difficult to remember all their names. But Jukebox, she's still hanging around them in school, but she's off with a wee white girlfriend to be by the looks of it for school. They're doing a bit of shopping, of course. They go into said shop. She's obviously got a lot of money. She's doing a bit of selling on the side, like clothes, designer gear, proving her worth that way. So that's all good. That happens. Then she looks at this top. It's like $65. She's like, nah. And then her racist white girlfriend, so to speak, is like, I'll buy it for you. And she's like, oh, I'm white and fey, blah blah blah. So the only way we get people to be our friends is when we buy them stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking, alright, okay. And obviously, like, but you can, even though this is set in like the early 90s, you can see that they've got like the woke undertones in there, don't they? But in terms of Jukebox, what else does she do? Well, on the way home, she spots D-Wiz getting into, I believe, is it Marvin's car? I think it's Marvin's car, so he's like the older brother. Again, why is the older brother not in charge? Why is it Kanan's mom, what's her name? Fack? Yo, Raquel, that's her name. Raquel. At the beginning of the episode, she meets with the other opposition crew guy, and essentially, to cover this bit up, he's like, yeah, I've put the word out, but those civilians, they got the right to bear arms, and these folks aren't going to rest till the killer is dead. And then obviously, there was 2 people shooting at the $20 or whatever, $2. I can't remember what the guy's name is. Yeah, that kind of obviously put the hit in motion on D-Wiz because, you know, he was going around the school saying, oh, my name's D-Wiz, and here, you Kanan, you only in the one that got the final shot in. That was me. It was all me. It's like, alright, he's sitting there bragging about it. Obviously, it's an easier compromise to kill D-Wiz rather than kill, you know, her own son. But judging by what Kanan did in the original part, maybe killing his own child or her own child wouldn't have been the wrong move. It's mad to think. I think that was an out of pocket, so to speak, manoeuvre for Kanan to actually kill his own son. It never really quite sat right with me. Like, and I like the Kanan character, but I don't know. I thought it was one step too far. But anyway, enough about Kanan killing, you know, his only son, or I think it's his only child, unless like there'll be. I thought it'll be intriguing though to see when he actually has Sean, because I tell you what, 91, Sean's about. It seemed like when Par started, Sean is about late teens, isn't he? Nearly 20. So I wonder if he has it with Defina. I can't remember. Obviously, you do see Sean's mum in the original Par, but I can't remember her name. But you know, that's more knowledge that would come if you've watched the show like multiple times. But I haven't. Maybe when all these but then see when all these spin-offs finish, man. Even though with the young Tommy and young Ghost, I just don't see how they're ever going to end anytime soon. I mean, you're probably looking at these spin-offs going up right up until like 2030, and then at that point you've got like 16 years worth of Power to watch. It's a lot to get through at the end of the day, isn't it? But yeah, back to the task at hand. Kanan, he's got a new job after school. Turns out his new job after school is sitting in the stash house and learning the trade, but he quickly realises that he's not learning the trade and he's just been sat there so he's safe and he's got a babysitter. And then when he complains to his mum about it, his mum's like, here, once upon a time, Kanan, I was like that, and you know what, you need to learn how to follow and just keep your mouth shut and take orders. And I think that's him learning here. And obviously, like, seeing the way Kanan is in Power, that's the kind of limits you with a prequel. You know he's not going to step out of line here. I can pretty much see like the next couple of episodes him just staying in line and you know, staying in the stash house, etc, etc. But his mum's like, why don't you bring D-Wiz over for a wee movie? And he's like, alright, I'll ring D-Wiz. So D-Wiz is on his way, and that's when Jukebox seen D-Wiz getting picked up by Marvin. Marvin, D-Wiz then head over to the club, which is run by the other rich white girl, who looks like she's going to be getting in a relationship with Lulu. I'm in mourning, my dog was in the microwave, absolutely. So yeah, looks like they could be in a relationship. Meanwhile, Sympathy looks like he's beginning to have a relationship with Raquel, or Reek, whatever that guy pronounced it as. So, I mean, that's good for him, but I could have swore last episode he was the one sleeping with your woman's dog who got microwaved. So he double dipping, I say. Tell you what though, I mean, double dipping into both of them, go ahead, big man. There's worse double dipping to be going on, and Taza knows all about that for the Mayans. If you're ruined for Mayan days on Fog Entertainment, then I salute you. But if you know, then fair play anyway. Jose, but yeah, pretty much when D-Wiz get picked up and Jukebox noticed it, that's the key for me. I knew he was a goner this episode, so yeah, he's in the club. He gets told it's going to be the best night of his life. Anyway, man, it turns out that actually the best night of this guy's life is going to be losing his virginity and then getting killed. So he loses like virginity to like a hooker / a stripper, I'm not too sure, whatever. And it's a, I got the power, Phil Taylor theme song, ooh, ooh. So yeah, I mean, obviously summing up the early 90s there, which I thought was a nice touch. But yeah, D-Wiz ends up getting killed. You could see that Marvin was upset about doing it. I don't think Lulu would have done it, by the way. I don't think he would have done it. Now what's Kanan going to do when he finds out? Of course he's going to find out Jukebox knows that Marvin picked him up, and I don't know, I've just got a feeling that Marvin and Raquel, they're not going to lie. I don't feel like they're liars. I just feel like if Kanan asks, like, did you murder my friend, because he admitted to killing $2 or $20, whatever the guy's name is, they're going to admit it. They're actually going to admit it. So yeah, that is pretty much the end of the episode, guys. I'm trying to think what else I left out. Don't think I left out anything else particularly insane. So I think it's time for a rating for the episode. I don't think it was as good as the premiere, but yeah, the premiere normally triumphs like the episodes beside it in my opinion. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I do like the show. And I think the fact it's a prequel can also help it. But what I'm intrigued to know is, like, when this show ends, is that going to be when Tasha and Ghost get Kanan locked up? Are we going to see any flash forwards? Or is that going to be saved more for the Ghost and Tommy prequel? Or here, are they going to enter, you know, they're going to meet with each other? Because I guess we'll have to wait and see. Because, I mean, I don't know what age Tommy and Ghost are, but, like, Kanan, I mean, it's 91. The guy's probably about, what, 15, 16 in this season? Puts him, like, mid-70s in terms of birth, which means, you know, 2024, if he was still alive, he'd be, like, 49. We'll have to wait and see with that stuff. So, yeah, looking forward to it, guys, but 7 out of 10. 8 episodes to go. Stick and move is the phrase of this episode, and it's also, but in fact, the title, and it is Season 1, Episode 3, and we're going to dive straight into it. We've got a bit of a time skip from Episode 2. It's been a few days since D-Wiz passed. I thought there would have been a funeral. Hell, I thought there would have been an immediate aftermath, and essentially straight away you've got Raquel, Kanan's mom, talking about, right, and this is what actually does grind my gears about this show, and shows in general that try and, like, talk about this, right? So she's like saying, oh, another black boy gunned down in the street, right? There's right. You could say she's saying this to, you know, past conversation with her son because she's the one that ordered the hit, right? So maybe to make it, like, take the pressure off her a bit potentially. But see when they come out and say this sort of stuff, it's like, hold on, you're a queen pin in the game. We've heard kingpin say it before, so it's not a queen pin thing. It's like, you're selling drugs, right? You've got people on corners. You're in the drug game. It's America. There's guns left, right, and centre. You're contributing to those deaths, right? Regardless if you're indirectly or directly involved, you are a part of the game. You are causing these deaths, right? You're selling drugs that causes these beefs, etc., etc. See these people that try and sit on their fucking high horse like, oh, there's too many black boys dying in these streets. And before anyone goes, yeah, but if they weren't the queen pin, someone else would be. Yeah, absolutely, I get that, right? So that someone else would take that spot. But at least you would have your fucking morals intact. See this whole, it's like the boy who cried wolf. It's a load of shit. That's what it is. You know, at least try and change it. You know, if there's one thing I hate, it's someone that moans about something that they're doing. You know, a hypocrite. Like, see Walter White. I mean, I didn't hear him fucking crying about drug overdoses, did I? No, because he's selling the stuff. Anyway, thought I had to address that. But yeah, Kanan's still sad about his friend. Defina asks him, hey Kanan, did you know anything about D-Wiz shooting Buck 20? And he's like, no, I didn't. But that's what the streets are saying. And essentially we get to see Kanan here. He sells his first drugs. So yeah, his mom's so bothered about black kids dying and selling drugs in the street, and here she is, fucking, you know, her own son, albeit, yes, it was her brother that gave Kenan the drugs to sell, but anyway, he sells these drugs, he manages to sell them, make a bit of money, make a bit of profit. He could have made a lot more, but, you know, it was his first time selling. He gets told by Jukebox, seeing you're in the street, just be like, yeah, man, I got 20 grams. So he's, like, speaking out loud, but he's doing it, like, quietly. And this guy runs over and he's like, yeah, this right here, this is my first sell. So it's obviously 50 Cent doing a bit of a commentating job on this episode, which he's done throughout, and I hope it continues throughout this series, bear in mind. But yeah, then he does a nice thing. He buys groceries for Defina and her little sister. So big Kanan here, maybe at the age of 15, which was confirmed in this episode. He is 15. We're in 91. So yeah, that means Kanan was born in 1976 or 75, I guess you could argue that. So yeah, he moves his first drugs. We'll have to wait and see how that's going to go. Essentially, the rest of the episode, you've got Raquel making moves. She manages, this guy she used to be close with, gets the details about the re-up from the opposition crew, so she gives that information to our detective, who in turn has found out that he's got leukemia, and that in order to get this solved. He needs to reach out to family. He's like, the only family I got is down in Alabama, and they don't speak to me. And she's like, I don't think you're realising the severity of this situation. You need to get them spoke to. And he's like, well, I guess I gotta speak to those motherfuckers in Alabama. So, yeah, NYPD, they're going to make a move later on. The re-up. Back to the family, though. Essentially, you're seeing Marvin get with a woman. You're seeing Lulu get with a woman. They're starting relationships. Raquel starting a relationship with Sympathy. And then you've also got this whole other story arc this episode about we're getting introduced to this guy who creates music. Reminds me of Locke, whatever. For San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto. Now, doesn't seem gay. Is gayism. But again, it's like, are you trying to tell me that the three main figureheads in this organisation are all getting into their relationships within the first couple of... I mean, that just seems forced. Like, why couldn't one of them already have been in one? You know? I don't know. Is that me nitpicking? Probably. Probably is just me nitpicking. Jukebox, though, she goes to the mall with her to-be girlfriend, and it's like, right, really? Like, does this really need to take up, like, a fifth of an episode, these two going and singing? It's like, I like the fact Jukebox is in this series, you know, she was in the original Power show, right, and it's good to see other people's, like, prologue, so to speak, just other than Kanan's, but it's like, really, do we need to keep fucking ramming this whole lesbian storyline down our throat? It's 1991, folks, come on, you know what I mean? I'm not saying it couldn't have happened, and at least the character was a lesbian in the original Power, so it's not like they've completely rewritten the script. Anyway, pretty much, we see Raquel and Kanan, they go to D-Wiz's mum's house. Kanan's crying, he's shedding tears, and his mum's sitting there like, yeah, another black boy died. Yeah, you caused it. You're the one. You put that shitstorm in motion. And she did. Make no mistake about it, folks. She is the one that put that in motion. Then we see the bust at the end of the episode, the NYPD. They take down this car, and essentially, the re-up, the drugs has been stolen. So because the drugs have been, stolen, they've been incarcerated. The police have took them. The police have raided them. The corners are quiet. So yeah, it looks like the opposition and Kanan's crew, I don't even know what they're called, the Kanan's crew. His mum's crew, Raquel's crew, whatever, man. The two parties, man, they both don't have any drugs to move, no corners, the corners are quiet. And it just shows you remove the drugs, the corners are quiet, and that's all the good stuff happening there. So, again, can we just stop this fucking rhetoric about, another Black Day? And the same's happening in the other spin-off, Power Book 4. And that's in Chicago. Obviously, this is set in 91, so, it's a bit outdated in that sense, but modern day Chicago, tell you what, you can't go a day in Chicago without a shooting, without a murder. And I say that, without about 10, 20 of them, in all honesty. So, it's what it is, but yeah, this episode was alright. I think it was the worst episode, though, so far, which, again, there only has been 3 episodes, so it's not like it's a disaster, but I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Till next time, leave your thoughts down below, and peace. Fog Entertainment back again with another episode review of Raising Kanan. Damn it, Kanan. I always call him Canyon. Kanan. Doesn't really matter what you want to call him, guys, but we had a lot going down in this house. We had the stash house. That's not looking so particularly great, is it? The stash house has been hit. But we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. We may as well talk. Let's just wrap up Jukebox's arc, alright? She's, of course, seeing a wee girlfriend, but nobody knows she's a girlfriend. The white girl's like, my parents are not so great about everything, obviously implying that lesbian, they're not a big fan of lesbians. But you know what, I actually think, see parents that might take their child, being gay or lesbian bad, right? I don't think it's just automatic homophobia, right? Now, a lot of people might just not want their fucking child to be gay, right? But if you actually look at it, it's like, if you're gay or lesbian, like, it just rules you out having kids. I know you can adopt, but, that's not continuing the bloodline. Damn it. It's not, and I can definitely see why parents from that aspect would be annoyed. But, they all just seem to get painted with the same brush. But Jukebox here, she steals another jacket, and the security guard that she saved last episode says, now we're even. Of course, Jukebox saved him, but I'm surprised. I mean, fair play from the security guard, but, Jukebox is just going to continue to keep on stealing, and the problem is, now she's known at that spot, she's going to have to move her game up, twist and shout, so to speak. But yeah, Jukebox ain't really doing much, and you know what, she's also keeping the cards close to the chest that Lulu was the one that dropped D-Wiz, but yeah, that's probably for like a season 1 finale, and we'll have to wait and see, because obviously by the time Par comes around, none of these characters apart from Jukebox exist. I can't recall if Jukebox even mentioned Marvin at any point. But anyway, back to Lulu. He's in the music studio. Famous, he was obviously with Famous's sister now. Famous is getting some tunes. Jukebox did not like that fact. But I mean, I don't know, this Lulu guy came across as very petty here. He sees his girlfriend hugging the producer, and he's like, can I have a word with you outside? Even though he doesn't sound like that, it's like, come on, son, alright? You know, it's a bit pathetic. Here for Big Lulu. She's like, you move the drugs, I can move the music with Famous. Fair enough. What's Marvin doing this episode? Well, Marvin's not really doing much. I mean, his relationship with the blonde woman, I thought, right, it's kind of come out of nowhere. So how's it going to go down this time? I'll tell you how it's going to go down this time. Not much. So what happens is he's sleeping with her. She then tries to cuddle him. He's like, well, everyone cuddles you? She's like, yeah, loads of black guys have cuddled me. And it's not that makes him, take this bad. She's like, by the sounds of it, you would rather cuddle up to a guy that's from Jamaica, Queens, and black. Which I thought it was a brilliant and underrated line for her, by the way. Thought it was absolutely incredible, that line, right? Is what it is. And then he just decides to take the dog. You've not been feeding the dog. So he takes it, and it's like, okay, fair enough. Then, what else do we have? They go to the shop that they're setting up camping. They sort that out, the locks are sorted. But then Marvin enlists Kanan in helping him move the stash. Again, with this problem, Kanan's supposed to be an after-school class. Will he make it in time? We're not too sure. We're not too sure how it's going to go down. Also, what about like the police bust at the end of episode 3? They got all that drugs, and yeah, we're seeing the corners that are empty, and Unique's not taking it too well, but it's like, we've seen like no police reaction to that. Like the commissioner guy wanted a big bust. Here he is getting the big bust, and he's like not even like responded to it. I don't know, bit of a poor follow-up to that in my opinion. Unique though, he wants to get the corners, and he actually speaks to Davina, who was speaking to Kanan, and she manages to tell him the stash house location, because of course Kanan came over and started speaking to her again. Kanan being sloppy in his tender years of only 15. They're scoping that out. Unique and like 2 other of his guys, he basically said, here, I'll kill everybody. And the episode did begin with him killing one of his guys. Who'd known? Hell, we got our... Kanan's narrating though, he's like, yeah, they got their same blowjob, their first blowjobs the same night. Well done, guys. Well done, getting your first blowjobs the same night, and here he is dropping them. Anyway, essentially though, you've got Marvin doing a bit of, he's like, oh, I need to go to the shop. So he takes the first drop off. He's like, Kanan, you answer the door to nobody. And it's like, I actually cannot believe he's left Kanan here. Kanan with a gun. Kanan has nothing. So Unique and his crew bust in. They start taking everything. Kanan's got a bit beat up here. Marvin then sees these guys loading into the truck, and then he just decides to ride his Mercedes clean into the back of the fan, destroying his Mercedes. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing, big man? I don't grasp it in the slightest. Like what in the name of Christ is going on? He could have literally got out his Mercedes. Oh, Jake, what are you doing? Dog's just jumped into the water. He could have just got out his Mercedes, right? And, ran and shot them. But again, plot armor for Unique here. He rams into the back, starts firing into them. They steal like half the money. He then walks in. The guy that's holding Kanan hostage, he's like, do you know whose son this is? Like, yeah, I know whose fucking son this is. Marvin then drops him. Bang, bang, good night. Marvin drops this guy. Kanan's blood goes all over Kanan. It's like, holy shit, how are we going to climb this up? But I mean, again, Marvin, he's just lost half the stash money. Like, how's he going to explain that? You know what I mean? Like, he's going to have to explain it. And again, like, you feel like he got Ken to do it. Why wouldn't he get, like, Lulu? Or someone to do it? Or you like, I know he tried to get the guy, right, who had the shits with the chicken. But, I mean, come on. It was a bit ridiculous. But then again... would Unique and all have broke in before knowing that was a legit stash house? Probably not. It is what it is. I mean, yeah, but a stash house. Look how much money was in it. Like, mad. Like, these houses just lying empty. Kanan manages to get home just in time. And then, yeah, his mum does find the bloody sweater that he takes off for class, and it turns out the class that she enrolled him into is actually being taught by Sympathy, her new boyfriend. So yeah, that's kind of a funny end. Or Symphony? Not Symphony. Anyway, whatever. But anyway, guys, I mean, I thought the episode, I think it was better than episode 3. Get a 7 out of 10. I liked the whole shootout scene, even if it did lack a bit of logic. But anyway, till next time. Peace. Choose your battles wisely. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. We're here with the midway point of Season 1 of Raising Kanan, Power Book 3. And there's a lot to dissect here. There's a lot to talk about, of course. It's a bit of a couple of day time skip since the events of Episode 4. You've got Raquel, Rock, you'll rock, you'll rock, you'll Dwayne, you'll the Rock. She's investigating. She's like, alright, I thought maybe Marvin would have potentially came clean, but he didn't. Thought Kanan would come clean, but he didn't. So what we're talking about here? Well, she basically gets both of them to admit it, but Kanan covers his uncle's back, which I like. I don't want to see Kanan throwing anyone under the bus. He never really did that. But it's just mad. It's mad to think that this character, Kanan, is going to go on to kill his own son. Like, I think even at this point, like, see in the Power universe, you almost forget that Kanan killed his own son. You do, like, you almost forget that. It's absolutely freaking mental, to be honest. But what happens, guys? I'll tell you what happens. You get Raquel. She's eager to transform her business. So obviously we've seen seeds get put in motion for last episode, where she wants to buy 2 apartments, one on top of the other, and essentially it means they can look out, see their enemies coming from below, and also at the same time be able to deal with the cops. It means if the cops or anybody comes sniffing around the door, we can throw the money, the drugs down the chute. Yeah, tell you what, I think it's a pretty smart plan here for Raquel. I'm surprised. I mean, I'm not saying it's never been done in television and movie history, but and obviously it's been done in real life, I'm going to assume so, but I've never seen another TV show do this, like, not really. And I think it's, the only thing is, apartment blocks, hard to escape. If you're that high up and the police of the building surround, like, realistically, what can you do? That's the only thing I would argue against having an apartment block. Kanan, though, he kind of has a falling out with Jukebox. He's kind of over nothing, and he's like, I'll reveal your fucking secrets, man. So yeah, she runs off, famously, why don't you come down with me to the studio? Those two go down to the studio. Then the guy behind like the screen's like, oh, I need money, man. Then Lulu's like, alright, I'll give you money. He's like, but yeah, I want you to put my niece in there. So obviously, her and Famous record a wee song, sounding quite good. It's a shame what happened to the character Jukebox. There was no singing going on in Power. That's for sure. Absolutely no singing going on in season 3 and 4 of Power. Did not go according to plan for them. But yeah, she then heads to her girlfriend's house. They're kissing, and her mum walks in, and I was like, oh, this is a cringe-inducing scene here. It was quite cringy, wasn't it, man? It was extremely cringy. This scene, where you've just got so many issues. It's like, oh, and the dad doesn't really take it back. He's kind of wondering, like, what the fuck's going on? And I get it. Early 90s. Different era. But from the mother's point of view, I mean, she walked in, Jukebox was on top of her daughter. I mean, it wasn't exactly, I mean, she did call her out and said, you arred me. You're arring my daughter. Not so much in that, and then Jukebox leaves. Will this relationship be picked up at any point? Probably not. I'm not surprised to end it here. Kind of guessed it would go down this route of, yeah, big man, it's not going to happen that way. It's never going to happen. This relationship was never going to go anywhere, and, you know, I'll be interested to see how, like, Marvin reacts to his daughter being a lesbian. That is for sure. Kanan, though, he confronts Scrappy. He thinks he's the one that ratted. He thinks he's the one that gave up the stash house. Even though he pretty much said that he thinks Defina did, but she didn't have no idea what the house was about, so she's not really a rat. It's like, so hold on here. Then, what about Scrappy. It's like you're just throwing Scrappy under the bus. He confronts him. He starts punching him. There's a bit of a brawl between these two. The police then pick them up. I believe it's Hard. The police officer, the guy who needs the bone marrow transplant, he's not going to get it though. But he might have found luck because when he's questioning Kanan, he's like, Kanan says, "Oh, I was born August 75. He's like, "Really? I thought you were older." He's like, "No, man, I'm 15." So yeah, Kanan born in 75. We then see him look at the medical records and prison records for Kanan's dad, who was called DEFCON. Turned out DEFCON went inside in like September of '74, and therefore couldn't be Kanan's dad because there was no conjugals or whatever. So yeah, and then it turns out that Hard is actually the father of Kanan, and it's like, what? Now there is no DNA test to prove it, but it's looking that way. I don't really like that reveal. I kind of like the fact that Kanan's dad was like a serious player. He was on the Mount Rushmore of gangsters. That sounds a lot better than here. He's this cop. It's about to die. Now, could Kanan offer a bone marrow transplant to save this guy's life? Is that the route we're going down? I'm not too sure, but yeah, he confronts Raquel at the end of the episode. But yeah, she's not too happy. She's like, "Back away from my son." What's he gonna do? Only time will tell. And that's pretty much it where it ended, man. I mean, Marvin and Lulu got into a bit of a brawl. It was a bit pathetic, like, but I mean, that's about it. And that's it. It's called Choose Your Battles, this episode. And Kanan, he's still narrating. I'm still liking all that stuff. So I'll give it a solid 6 out of 10. So until next time, peace. It's time to level up. Welcome back, guys, to Raising Kanan. Episode 6 of season 1. We're into the second week of this. You're on the wrong side. You got to play the rules. Big Famous and Jukebox. I tell you what, that's actually a good song. I'll admit that. That's a good song. But what do we have happening this episode? Well, we do begin the episode with Raquel. She's trying to, sort these two flats out. The housing guy's there, he's not happy, and she's like, "Oh, how about we come to an arrangement later on?" He's like, "Oh yeah," so it looks like Raquel's going to pump this guy into oblivion. Of course, that's not what went down. I'll tell you what went down. She dresses up nicely for the south side. Fucking south side. She dresses up for the south side's Jamaica Queen's ball, but then she goes over there, gets into a bit of a fight with that guy. I mean, I am skipping ahead in this episode, but I think it's easier to wrap the storylines up like that. So that's what happens in that regard. She does that. Hits him with a hammer. He falls to the ground. That is when Marvin comes along. Then Marvin's like ranting and raving to this guy after like she leaves, and he's like, "They don't fucking trust me, man. I'm Marvin. I'm a cool motherfucker." He's like, "Well, you won't actually see any of my future because you're dead." And what I don't understand, they're putting this guy in the wall. It's like, you've murdered this guy, right? The evidence is there that you've murdered him. I mean, what if that other guy, the housing guy, who is a bit more pally but comes across as a shite bag, rats on them? I don't know. I think just leaving the body at the actual murder scene is a bit stupid, especially in the wall. Is that not gonna smell? So that's what I don't get. So we'll have to wait and see. Or is that Marvin playing the long game? I don't think he's betraying his family, but obviously the last couple of episodes, like he has been, he has been coming across as not unwanted, but underappreciated, so to speak. He's been getting made fun of quite a lot. So maybe Marvin's just no happy. Maybe Marvin's like, you know what? I'm sick of getting made fun of here, and I don't want to get made fun of anymore. My name's Marvin. Maybe this is a contingency plan for him, but they all head to the ball. Prior to this, though, of course, you've kind of got Jukebox and Kanan. They're not on the best terms of falling out with each other. We did see Lulu, who I mixed up in earlier episodes. I've seen some comment. I remember actually mixing them up. I think it's weird, though, because Lulu looks so much older than Marvin to me, but he's the youngest brother. And I get it, just because you're the youngest doesn't mean you actually have to look the youngest, but to me, I think Lulu looks as if he's got about 10 years on Marvin, and that may sound crazy. It's not, but we see Scrappy, of course. I think I kind of forgot to mention this in one of the previous reviews last episode. We've seen Raquel go to him, so it looks like he's planted himself inside of Unique's business. But they're going to do a hit tonight at this music festival. I just wonder who. So, we've got that policewoman sniffing around, trying to get information out of jukebox. It's not happening hard. He's going around. He goes to his doctor. He's like, theoretically, if I had a son, could he be the bone marrow transplant I need, sort of thing? And she's like, well, if you're how old's your theoretical son? He's like 15. And she's like, well, we'd normally need the age be 18 and over, but we can make exceptions. So I don't know. I feel like this guy's probably gonna die, and Kenan won't even find out it's his dad. I think that Cop Hard will be one of the bigger deaths this season. That's a prediction, not a spoiler. I'm not too sure, but the re-up has been dropped. The product, they're not getting it anymore. Unique's bought out Raquel, Screw, and Big Bob for The Walking Dead. Barksdale for The Wire, whatever you want to call this guy. I can't actually remember what his name is. So it's all over for him at the end of the day. It is all frickin' over for the big man. It really, really is. How they're going to get their drugs, we'll have to wait and see. How we're going to hit Unique. Well, they do have a mole planted within the organisation, but we get to the big music festival, and I actually thought this was one of the best scenes. I honestly think this whole sequence was one of the best scenes across like the Power universe. Like for me, I don't know. It's like with Kanan giving the monologue, he's like, rappers are just talking about stuff, like that they haven't done and what they've seen on the news, but pretend that they're actually in it. But the real gangsters out there, the real players, they aren't rapping about this shit. And it hit deep. It made you realise, like, yeah, like all these guys talk fucking shite. And it was good, and seeing Kanan's face kind of drop when he realised, and he's kind of like looking at Famous and Jukebox in disgust. Especially Famous, because obviously we know that Jukebox goes on to be a police officer, and a pretty corrupt one, but a gangster in her own right. But Famous, I don't know, I don't think he's ever going to really amount to anything. But while this is all going down, looks like Sympathy and Raquel have split up with each other. Again, I could see Sympathy getting killed, and she's like, I can never forgive myself, sort of thing. Maybe not, who knows? But Scrappy and the other guy barge in the back door, because obviously they're not allowed in the front door. Got a few guys for Brooklyn not getting on with the South Side guys, and they're kind of chatting up the wrong people here, so to speak. Nicole, she smokes her first joint. These guys come in, they're singing, play by the rules, there's a straight line. But Kanan giving his wee monologue. Scrappy then finds out last minute that we're actually whacking Lulu, and then Lulu turns around and sees Scrappy. Scrappy touches his nose, has to say, it's you, do something. So then Lulu starts a fight, and obviously Scrappy and the Hitman have to run out, but then the Hitman's like, here, you're the fucking mole, we know you Raquel just planted you in here. And they're absolutely right. And then the episode ends with Kanan. Well, it ends kind of like a sex montage sort of thing. Kanan returns home, and Oiko's like, your boy, is that your daughter? And then they run outside, and Scrappy's dead, dumped at their front door. So anyway, guys, that is it for this episode. I'm going to give it we'll get an 8 out of 10. As I said, I really loved that whole music scene, but I think the rest of the episode was quite weak, but that definitely elevated it for me. So anyway, guys, 8 out of 10. Till next time, peace. Stay in your lane, or in this case, keep the crack in the file. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. It is Season 1, Episode 7 of Raising Kanan. And we're back, man. Stay in your lane. We've got a few deaths in this bad boy. Not exactly great, not exactly good. So let's talk about it. We begin the episode. Raquel's on the phone to Lulu. Hello. And Lou is told basically to kill this guy, and it looks like the guy that's killed Scrappy, which, by the way, turns out Scrappy's not even dead, which I was shocked about. He's lost an eye, and he's got some serious damage to his kidneys, or was it his liver? I can't remember, so maybe we won't see him until Season 2, I'm not too sure in that regard. But yeah, Lou tries to kill this guy. This was embarrassing. Like, I mean, he had him at point blank range, and he still missed. Like, seriously? I don't understand what's going on here. Like, Lou, what are you doing? What are you doing, Lou? Come on. Like, he walks in with a KG9. Machine pistol, machine gun, can't even fucking scalp the guy with a bullet, and the guy jumps out the window and escapes. And rightfully, Lou kind of gets berated here by Raquel. You've kind of got Marvin just sitting there like a spare dick, not much really going on for him. But here, I think it's good that Scrappy's not dead, but it kind of makes no sense that Unique's crew wouldn't kill him, considering the only reason he flipped was to snitch at the end of the day. But yeah, you got a bit of a double date here. You've got Davina and Kanan with Symphony and Raquel, but she's not happy about Symphony. They make up though. I've got a nice wee double date, brilliant. Yeah, we see a few scenes here. Raquel speaking to the woman in the shop. Oh, my husband looks like I could see Raquel killing this guy. She meets with her cousin. She's talking about, plans with Sympathy as well. Like, oh, hopefully I can get out of this stuff. And, Sympathy, you're good with Kaden, you'd be good with kids. Maybe we can have that life. And it's just a deal where I get a paycheck at the end of every month from this, and I'm not actually running things because Lou's be running things. I mean, really, is Lou really better than Marvin? Like, I know Marvin is a loose cannon. I don't think you can, but Lou just doesn't really seem to have anything about him. I don't understand it. Hard though, he pays a visit to Kanan. So how's that gonna go down, brother? How is that gonna go down? Next up, we have got Jukebox. So her storyline this episode, what have we got with her? Well, essentially, she's trying on dresses, getting ready for this ball that she's going with Nicole. But it's a black girl here. Some of the store owners are like, oh, did you leave them in there? And she's like, yeah. And it's like, oh, racist stereotypes. But hold on here. I mean, she's talking to a character that's fucking gimmick up to this point has been stealing shit. So, if it's her first instinct and it turns out the person has stole clothes before, does it really make her that bad? Anyway, I digress. Kanan, though, this is disaster class here. He comes back. Turns out the whole gas station spot was his idea, which we knew about, but it's going well, but they need more drugs. But instead of ringing Marvin, what does he do? He decides to cook it himself, and he cooks up a deadly brandy, hat bash, whatever, man. Not good batch, that's the word we were looking for there. And what happens here, man, they start dishing out a few trial editions, so to speak. Kenan's like walking with one. He high-fives Jukebox as Hard was speaking to him so she can take it in case he searched him. And then it actually ends up killing like 5 like homeless guys that are on crack. So yeah, Kanan adding to his body count here, which I thought was pretty funny. We see Nicole and Jukebox, they share a pretzel, and Nicole actually goes into Jukebox's bag and steals the file. Like, what is going on there? That's pretty dark, damn it. That is pretty dark. Marvin berates Kanan and says, we can't allow this to happen, and it won't happen. So that's good to see. What else have we got throughout this episode? We've got Nicole. She doesn't really want to do this whole ball thing. She's looking forward to going with Laverne. We're going to sneak Laverne in the back door. Well, at least that's the plan anyway, but her mother goes in, yeah, that girl forced herself on top of you. You want to be with a boy. And it's like, what's so, like, funny about this? It's like, it's actually, it's weird. Like, they're trying to portray the boy as good here, and, like, like, Jukebox is, like, the rapist, which is bizarre, especially because he's white, but, anyway, roles reversed and all that, but obviously it's making the mum look bad, and the dad's like, what, you're forcing our daughter to have sex with this child, which was bizarre. But yeah, we then have Jukebox getting ready. Raquel comes in, and she's like, oh, I'm not going with a boy, I'm going with Nicole, and Raquel's like, I'm not your father, Marvin. I love you for who you are, and it's like, yeah, of course, Raquel, the woman is the one that's understanding of this lesbian relationship. It's like Raquel, it's like butter wouldn't fucking melt. Like, why would that not make for an interesting dynamic though if Raquel was against it? But you just see, like, even in these modern day shows that's set in the past, like they've just got the woke tendencies in there. And I'm not saying back in '91, man, everyone was homophobic and all that shit, right? Even though I wouldn't even say it's homophobic, maybe they actually just want grandchildren. It's as simple as that. Anyway, I digress, but Nicole's no coming out. She reaches into the bag, whips out her big crack pipe. Obviously, she just started smoking last episode, puts the crack in. She's listening to Laverne's voice, but obviously this crack's deadly. Dies. Face plants. Holy shit, Nicole. Pretty decent sized character death, in my opinion. As well, whilst we got this episode, we've got Lulu meeting with Unique, and Unique's like offers him to join his crew. But then what happens, of course? He's like, nah. He's like, yeah, I get it, she's your sister. He's like, no, it's not because she's my sister. It's just I wouldn't hang with little bitch-ass niggas like you, which I thought was funny, and Mr. Pussy'd over here. And he's like, I was fucking you. So yeah, Lou laying the smack down here verbally. Jukebox, though, ends the episode with a bit of narration for growing up Kanan as he spoke to his mum about hard, and she's like, don't ever speak to him again, sort of talk. So yeah, guys, that's Stay in Your Lane. I mean, I thought it was a pretty decent episode. What I would say is, it's this whole. I can't believe I didn't kill that Scrappy guy. I thought he was just dead last episode. It kind of makes no sense for Unique not to kill him. But anyway, battered to a pulp. Maybe he'll do something. I don't really rate the Lou character, I'll be honest. Famous and Kanan did get into a bit of a scrap here. So yeah, but that is the interesting thing about this. Like, apart from Jukebox and Kanan, unless there's anyone else I'm forgetting that stood out in Power, all these characters must go somewhere or they must die. And that's the interesting thing about prequels. It's like the same when you watch Better Call Saul. It's like, what's going to happen to Lalo? What's going to happen to Hard? What's going to happen to Kim? All these questions are being asked. But anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below. I will give this episode a 7 out of 10. And until next time, that is it here for Fog Entertainment. R.I.P. Nicole. Thought she was a decent character for what she was. But that's her dead. And what will the aftermath? What will the reaction be to that? We'll have to wait and see. But until then, peace. The cost of doing business. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. We've got Power Book 3, Rising Kanan, and yeah, Episode 8, Season 1. We're well getting through it. We're getting through Season 1, and I'm enjoying it. Would I say it's the best spin-off to this point? Yeah, I mean, to this point, I probably preferred Force, maybe, Season 1 over it, but Season 2 of Force went downhill. And I just think with Rising Kanan, I think is the more that, like, Kanan and, like, you know, Jukebox and Famous and those sort of, like, the kids get older, I think this show's going to benefit from that, like, as they get out of school and shit. So I think this show's trajectory is only up. But this is called The Cost of Business. We begin the episode. Jukebox, obviously, I think we're a few days removed from the death of her girlfriend, Nicole. Her and Kanan go to the funeral, and of course, her mum and dad take exception to it. But it seems to be her mum that takes, like, the biggest, exception to it. Her dad's kind of whipped by the mum, for being honest, but Kanan then tells him, like, she really loved your daughter, and then, yeah, it comes to an end. It comes crashing down, doesn't it? As Jukebox breaks into their house just to see, like, all the memories of her and Nicole had to listen. She watches the tape of them singing, but then the mum and dad return home and Jukebox gets arrested. Then there's a phone call made and someone got her off, and I'm assuming that it must be the woman who's Hard's partner. I can't remember her name, so apologies for that, but that must be the way that is going down. We also see Raquel help kill the shop tender guy who's beating his cousin, who obviously the cousin is going to be the future Connect at this stage of the game. Meanwhile, Hard, this episode, he's still pressing up on Raquel. He's like, I want Kanan to know who I am, Raquel. Is it going to go down that way? But obviously the blue files are creeping out here, and at this point it looks like Kanan's going to get arrested, because when they do a bit of investigating, little Bob, whatever the fuck his name is, he gives up Kanan to save his own skin, but at the same time he's kind of giving up Marvin. Marvin, is he going to take too kindly to that? Probably not. But yeah, Marvin, he can't be trusted because he's a junkie. He's an ex-junkie, which I think's a bit, I don't know, like the older brother taking lessons off the rest of them seems a bit pish. You see Unique, he's pissed off that these blue files hit the street because obviously it's affecting business. Absolutely, it's affecting business, and the police did get their information from some random junkie, but Marvin and Kanan think that Raquel's not going to find it. But when Hard threatens her with the leverage of Kanan killing all these people with the files, that's when she obviously confronts Kanan about it and confronts Marvin about it. And what I found was kind of be a bit bizarre about this is that she just fucking completely disowns Marvin. It's like, I never want to speak to you again, get out of my sight sort of talk. It's like, what? Jesus Christ, really? Like, it wasn't even his fault, really, because it's not like he gave the go ahead for Kanan to make the drugs. Kanan did it of his own accord. So, yeah, pretty bizarre claim there. Kanan, though, things aren't looking good for him. And Marvin Lou then follows Unique. He manages to steal his coat. I wonder what significance that is going to have going forward. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Marvin looks like he's pretty much put out the crew. He's doing things on his own. And then we kind of see Lou fall out with his girlfriend. I just knew this felt forced. It did. It felt forced. Like he was talking all weird, and he was like, "Yeah, man. Sometimes I don't strive for more." She's like, "Well, I gotta strive for more," and he's like, "Well, I don't." It's like, get out. So he's sitting alone. Raquel phones him for one more hit. Um, and I tell you what, she's telling him to get ready. Could it be potentially that she was going to ask Lou to kill Marvin? Potentially. So Unique and Co decide to hit Marvin's house. Petrol bombs through the windy. Petrol bombs through the windy. I'm thinking, damn, Lou's probably going to die here. Meanwhile, we have Marvin, who's banging the white woman in the nightclub. Turns out, though, that she's like undercover because she made a deal because she got caught with 2 counts of possession, and she's got a wire underneath the table trying to get Lou to admit to being a drug dealer. And the fact that, not Lou, sorry, Marvin, the fact that Marvin couldn't see through this was mental, but obviously sympathy. He's the guy pulling pints, pouring shots. He heard this. What will he do with that information? We'll have to wait and see. But Marvin sees Lulu's house getting hit. And what does he do? He rocks up to the house and saves his brother. He barges in. Is he going to be able to save him? Oh, yeah. He's going to be able to save him. He gets in. Smoke, man. I thought Lou's dead at this point. Well, no. Till the next episode. But he gets in. He carries him out. He's like, somebody call a fucking out. Pretty badass scene. They were being truthful about it, man. You've got like shots firing, all that good stuff building up. It reminded me of San Andreas. Remember, you had to do those missions where you had to throw Molotovs, burn people at their houses with Officer Tenpenny. That's what this reminded me of. I would say this was probably definitely one of the better episodes of this show. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. We're picking up here towards the back end of season 1. Really looking forward to this whole war escalating, because obviously now that's surely going to escalate it even further than what it once was. So 8 out of 10, guys. Till next time, peace. One of the craziest episodes of the Power universe, potentially. Welcome back to Fog Entertainment. We are here with Loyal to the End. This episode begins, we've got Marvin showing the effects, the damage that was caused in that fire. I'm thinking, damn, is Lou dead? Lou's no dead. He's in intensive care, but he's no dead. And I'll tell you what is going on though. Marvin is going on a drive-by. He rolls past this hospital, sort of spraying with a big Tommy gun, man. He fires into Unique's car, which thankfully for him, it's bulletproof. Him and his son managed to escape. A few guys catch a few strays, and his crew shoots Marvin. The guy that gave up, Kanan, last episode, was the driver, and then Kanan, Marvin just shoots him, and it's like, damn, what a fucking start to an episode, by the way. That's how you start it. Raquel pretty much just ends things here with sympathy, which I feel kind of I've got sympathy for sympathy because symphony. Aye, whatever this guy's name. I actually do feel sorry for him here. Like she's just like basically disowns him. Is like, you can't be scared. And I get it. He probably shouldn't have used the word scared, but again, like he knows who she is. But obviously, him last episode overhearing that there's a wiretap in the bar that Marvin goes to. That stopped them from doing this, and tells her that you need to watch Erin. I believe her name's Erin. Tell Marvin to watch Erin, damn it. Which is absolutely true, by the way, because she will rap. Well, that's been Sympathy's last scene. I'm not too sure, but we've got Lou in the hospital. He's not exactly waking up. We see Marvin talk to Rack about everything that went down this morning. What went down this morning? Obviously, this whole shootout shit. Says, yep, turns out the rumours were true. His car is bulletproof. And essentially, it looks like Marvin's doing his own thing. He's not part of the crew. He's like, you know what, I'm a man. I can't sit back and just watch my little sister and brother run things. But hell, when you're getting hurt, I'm going to step up to the task that I did when we were younger and looked after you, and I'm going to get fucking revenge because no one fucks with my family. Roll on to the controversial scene this episode where he's in the house with Kanan. Kanan wants better music on. He's going to go into Jukebox's room, but then Marvin's like, you know what, Kanan, I'll go get the better music, son. I'll go get the music. I'll go play the game, brother. I'll go play the game. So what happens? They go and play the game. He goes in. He finds these pictures with Jukebox and Nicole. I don't think the pictures were too incriminating, but obviously, I was incriminating, like making her look like a lesbian. But yeah, Marvin can't believe this. He smashed up the house a bit. Kanan had to leave. He smashes everything. He's got the tape out. Jukebox then comes home, and I'm like, what's going to happen here? Obviously, we know Jukebox doesn't die. Could we see Jukebox potentially kill Marvin? And he's like, so you're some kind of ghoul faggot? What, Lebanese or some shit? And that got a cheap pop for me, man. I was near in tears at that line. It's just the delivery for Marvin was so funny. Like, obviously, lesbian, but he's like, you're Lebanese or some shit? He breaks the tape, and he's like, you know what? That's God making things right. Killing her. Everything's meant to happen for a reason because she's evil. You're evil, but it happened to her. So obviously Marvin's he believes in the straight and straight marriage and all that good stuff and reproduction and all that. So yeah, he's not too much of a fan of his daughter being gay or a lesbian. She then attacks him first. They get into a bit of a fist fight. I mean, it's mental. A grown man and his daughter. And then he starts choking him against the wall. He's like, yeah, you like that. And then he lets go. And yeah, it's a sad scene, right? But does Marvin deserve to die for this? Like, if Duke's told Kanan, I don't think Kanan would kill Marvin over it. Like, if she told Raquel, I think she would. Because I think last episode, that's what was going to happen. Is that she was phoning Lou to actually kill Marvin, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's a brutal ass scene. It was very well done. I mean, it's not nice, but they were attacking each other. Like, and again, people like to say, "Oh, I beat my kids." Obviously, this is '91, but we've seen Kanan kill his own son. Like, so when you've seen that, man, I can't really comment too much on this, to be honest. So yeah, absolutely crazy. So the meet is then set with Hard. He manages to save Lou in the hospital because two guys tried to come in and kill him, but Hard set up. Put that shitstorm in motion, got to move beds and all that stuff. So yeah, Hard then quits with his wee tag team partner. He then goes to meet, but then we see Kanan put on Unique's jacket, and I'm like, what is going on here? While this is happening, Unique's giving this big speech. He's like, yeah, we're going to kill those motherfuckers. We're going to take their corners. This war ain't going to be long, but it's going to be bloody. All that talk. Lou then wakes up. Good to see that Lou ain't dead. Raquel then goes meet with her mother. This did nothing for me in the slightest. And the episode ends with Kanan with Unique's jacket on, slings the hood up, meets Hard, kills him, and Hard doesn't even get to say anything. So, yeah, I mean, it was desperate for Hard. I'm surprised they killed him, and I'm surprised they killed him without him even knowing what age, or no, sorry, that he's Kanan's dad. So, yeah, unless it comes out some other way, but end of the day, DEF CON. Mental finding out that DEF CON was gay as well. Bizarre. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. Thought it was really good again. I'm going to give it another 8 out of 10. Raising Kanan. It's producing. That's episode 9. And that means I'm going to go watch the season finale now. And hopefully, I'm not disappointed till the end though. Peace. Fog Entertainment back again with another video, and we're looking at the season 1 finale of Raising Kanan and how could they deliver with all the hype that going into this season finale. I think it flopped. I do. I genuinely think this episode flopped. It's not that it was horrendous or even bad, but I just think with all the ingredients going in to this season 1 finale, it just didn't really live up to it. The episode ends pretty much the way. Well, no, sorry, the episode starts the way episode 9 ended, with the murder of Hard, Detective Hard. But turns out it's no murder, he's still alive. Gonna have to remove his spleen, a part of his liver, probably remove a lung, and then only then is the big man going to be alright. So this guy's going through a lot, but will he survive? We'll have to wait and see. But Kanan, obviously wearing the unique jacket, runs past all the spots he needs to, thinks he's going to get picked up by Marvin. Turns out he's not picked up by Marvin, he's picked up by a returning Scrappy, who's repping the scars of the beatdown. He's also got a eye patch on, and then they meet up with Marvin. Marvin basically tells him, right, you're going to hide in Lulu's house, which I thought was quite funny, because he's making fun. He's like, our parental vision and all that shit. He starts winking his eye, obviously, because Scrappy has only got the one eye left now. But yeah, Scrappy tells Kanan, you're a soldier now, you're not your mama's boy. Then they quickly agree that maybe it's too hot laying in Lou's house, so Kanan switch a bit of clothes, and they're going to hide him in the back of the bodega shop. There, meanwhile, you've got Jukebox running around. She's been given clothes by Rack to give to Kanan, gets pulled over by the police. They're obviously pushing her hard, like ain't no shit, but everything's pointing towards Unique. At this point, everyone's on the street saying Unique, all that good stuff. But is Unique going to get away with it? Well, Marvin, he's on a mission. What's he have to do? He has to pick up Kanan, but before he does that, he has to go to Unique's apartment. Meanwhile, Unique's having to lay low. He's packing bags. He's trying to get out of there because of this investigation. Obviously, realising that he's been quickly set up by Raquel, which again is mental that Unique's been set up here. But I mean, pack bags. Forget about your clothes, Unique. You gotta get the hell out of there. What good's a bulletproof car gonna do if you're getting a big 12-inch black man Jojo rammed up your ass in prison, big man? So yeah, he's worried about that. Marvin, though, he's sitting screwing away. He gets in, hangs up the jacket. Is Unique going to realise? We'll catch that a wee bit later. Meanwhile, we're introduced to this new guy who's replaced the old captain. This guy just looks so much better. Just such more like of an authority figure role, for being honest. Kanan and Jukebox then meet up in the back of the bodega. She's like, you ain't a gangster, you're acting tough, but you're not Kanan. Kanan's going on this like weird rant, oh, I know you more than anyone sort of shit. And I mean, I guess Jukebox and Kanan were close in par, but here, I don't know, this kind of fell on deaf ears to me, if I'm being brutally honest. But Raquel can't get through to Marvin, because what's happening with Marvin, he hides the jacket, he then gets out of there, he hears the elevator open, and he closes the door behind him. And who notices the door being closed? Unique notices the door getting closed. So you're thinking, damn, what's going to happen at this point? Well, Unique gets in, he's packing his stuff, then the FBI, the police, they bust down the doors and arrest Unique. So Unique, I mean, he'll get off with this, right? I can see some sort of deal being made between Kanan, like, and his uncles, especially Lou, which we'll get to soon, to get Unique out and send Raquel to jail for this. Because I don't know, like, it looks like Raquel's definitely betrayed Kanan. Talking of her, Lou breaks out, they hear the song being played in the car beside them, and he's like, you know, I could be a music guy now, I don't need to be in this drug game. So he tells Raquel he wants out. The police are then, you know, going through the apartments, they're raiding them. So obviously they use the wee shit that they've got in the oven. But Lou pretty much tells Raquel he's out, but she's like, you're not allowed to be out. You're out when I tell you you're out. Which obviously he didn't really like the sound of course. So how's that going to go down? She then goes to the roof and makes another phone call because Marvin has been picked up. Which obviously wasn't part of the plan, but he then realises that the woman he was banging got picked up as well, and he's like, oh shit, she's the snitch. So he figured that out. These charges on Marvin won't stick. I don't think so. But yeah, Raquel heads to the roof, making all these other phone calls. Kanan is then picked up by a familiar face, Symphony, and he's driving him. I believe he's taking him to Maryland, so probably got more. How's that going to go down? Is Kanan going to make a crossover into the Wire? That would be quite something for the books, wouldn't it? It's just, I don't know, like Raquel just ends the episode with Kanan doing a voiceover. It's like, you can be betrayed by anyone. And then he's like, even your own mum. And then it shows you Raquel. So what is Raquel going to put this murder on Kanan? I don't think it necessarily means that. I think she just used him to do her dirty work. More of a thing. I don't think she's going to give up her own son. So it would go against the character. But that's what I don't get. This episode just felt flat, like Raquel just staring off, and it's like, that's what ends the season. I don't know. Like it did feel like a season finale in the sense like a lot of things are left open to get you tuned into next season. But again, I thought it felt incredibly flat, guys. And that's where we're going to leave this episode. So, well, that's for a few. I mean, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I thought it was decent, but considering the standards of the episodes prior, I expected a lot more. Definitely a lot more, and it didn't really deliver. So I think a 6 out of 10 is fair. I mean, I'm looking forward to the next 2 seasons. I would say Power Book 4, Season 1, just narrowly eclipses this one. Then it would be Ghost, but I think overall, definitely that Ghost is definitely the best spin-off. But I can see why Raising Kanan would overtake it. Anyway, guys, till next time, peace.